guys, turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the series that has absolutely been exploding on the channel recently. For my channel side, it's exploding. You guys, episode 4 with the Honda S2000 has literally... it's on its way to 1,000 views. Like, I can't thank you guys enough. Like, so let's keep the grind going. We are here for episode 7 with a VW Polo GTI. And the livery that I've chosen for this one, you will understand the livery that I put on the one that we will be using today. So let's get into the Polo that we will be using. I just need to, there we go. And I am honestly very excited for this episode because I truly think it's going to be so much fun. So the car is no longer an 1800cc, it's a 1900 basically, and it looks like just cool. So this is the livery and the car that we will be using. When it comes to Golfs and Polos and stuff like that, I'm not the biggest fanboy. I'm really not a fanboy at all. But this is the car that we will be using with its very interesting livery, and let me run you guys through the upgrades so that we can get into this. First of all, 1900cc, over 350 horsepower. It weighs just over a ton, and it goes to 7,000 RPM. It's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, soft slicks. Fully customizable suspension, slammed to the ground. I actually put a fully custom diff on this one because I managed to get a bit more performance out of the car that way. So the initial torque is quite high, but I prefer that. Then nitro system, which obviously will not be used. Fully customizable transmission, fully customizable ECU with downforce 150 at the back, 100 at the rear. 150 at the rear and 100 at the front, excuse me. High RPM turbo, anti-lag system set to strong, a racing intercooler, racing air cleaner, racing exhaust manifold, racing brake kit with the slotted discs with racing brake pads, and then we've got a racing clutch and flywheel, and that is the build for this episode. Now guys, heading into this, I honestly don't know what to expect because the episode 5 car, which obviously exceeded, I think, everyone's expectations, to be 100% honest with you. I've got a feeling this Golf can do that. I don't think it will. I honestly don't think it will, but it's got the possibility to do so. But the Honda Integra really exceeded expectations, and it was a very fast car for a front-wheel drive car. It was stupid fast. So now heading towards Tsukuba for the 5-lap shootout. Let's see what happens, and will this Golf be able to smoke the same pipe as the Mark 1 Golf GTI? Let's find out. So this car's main competitor being the Mark 1 Golf GTI. It's, look, on time-wise, it's the slowest car we have of the series so far. But it doesn't mean it's slow. It just means that, you know, none of the cars that we've tested, well, that we've tried this series so far of building the ultimate track toy have been slow. They've all had some aspects to them that have made them fast. But the thing is, now we're going to see if modern beats classic. Other than that, when it comes to our leaderboard, the Golf is rated 5th out of the 6 cars that are already rated. So this Polo generally is aiming for obviously the top spot, like every car, but it's mainly aiming to beat the Mark 1 Golf. So it's aiming for P5 on the leaderboard, and then we'll see what happens after that. But let's get into these 5 laps and see what happens with the Polo GTI. And yes, it is a manual. It's not a freaking auto with a Triptronic gearbox. There's a lot of front wheel grip, I'm gonna have to say. It gives me a lot of the feels of the Honda. These VW engines just don't sound good to me. Oh, but there's a lot of torque though. You can short shift and it'll still go. Come on, little Polo. Ooh, for all my VW fans, let's see how good we can make you run. It's very easy to control this car, I have to say that. It's gonna hurt it a bit on the capability rating, but we'll see what happens after the Nürburgring. No, let's not be quick to judge already. There we go. 57.7, that's not a bad first lap. I messed up that first corner so bad. That was a lot smoother. Oh, a bit wide, but it's not the end of the world. Again, lap 3 feels good so far. So far. Doesn't like that front wheel slip, it really doesn't. .57.1, it keeps getting quicker every lap. I keep messing up that corner. I keep messing up the first hairpin. That was a good exit though. But yet still on the straight, they... wow! That third lap of mine does not make sense. Okay, last lap, let's see if we can get it into the 56s. Nah. Nah, I overdrove it. Oh, sorry little Polo for the barrier hit. But guys, that is not a bad lap time. A 57.1. Like that, honestly. I want to see if this thing has the same effect as the Honda, where it anti-lag, where it can you launch it in second gear first of all? Oh wow, you actually can. It doesn't grip up like the Honda. Oh, can we do a burnout in second gear though? First gear easy. Yes, you can. Typical VW things here. me TurboNatics, ladies and gents. The Polo GTI slots into P6 on the timing chart. It's the only car on the 57s. It's a low 57, but it beats the Mark 1 Golf by almost 1.2 seconds. It's just under 1.2 seconds, 1.1 something. So, very, very interesting. Actually, it's slower than the Renault, it's slower than the Corolla, and then obviously the rest. But, I mean, damn, man. That honestly, to me, I honestly thought it would be quicker than than at least the Renault, but clearly I was wrong. So we'll have to see what happens on the Nürburgring. But so for this car, when it comes to the fun factor, the most important thing we're looking at, it's not scoring very high right now. It feels too easy to drive. There's nothing wow about it like every one of the other cars had some sort of wow factor. This one doesn't have anything at the moment. Welcome to the ultimate test, Polo GTI. It is time for the green hell. And guys, honestly, I think this is going to be a first attempt hit. Like I said now, just at the end of Tsukuba, this car feels too easy to drive. There's nothing that challenges you, and that for me is a big thing. But it was what was it, second last on Tsukuba, so basically it's aiming to beat the 712. But I honestly think this car can be quicker than the Renault, so we'll have to see what happens. I think this might be the first shuffled up order we have, that differs from the two tracks, but we'll see. We did probably the shortest track on the game. I'm actually not sure if Tsukuba is the shortest. We actually need to go figure that out. But now we're on the longest. Let's see what happens and if this Polo GTI can actually smoke the pipe of the Mark 1 Golf. Will it? Will it not? We shall find out now. Attempt number 1. I honestly think this next part's going to be flat out. I'm just going to send it. That was a mistake! Okay, so clearly that does not work. Attempt number 2, here we go. Okay, this is the second attempt. This is hopefully something special. That was actually almost perfect. Yeah, it could have gone better through there. Wide. It's got an odd way of understeering. It's actually just a bit weird. This downhill section, I think this Polo's going to be fast. I really think this downhill section, the Polo's going to be very fast. 260. That's it. I can see with this car, it's mostly about weight transfer. How you transfer the weight of the car on braking and off braking. Guys, I'm gonna keep going. I don't feel that lost us too much time, and it actually gave me a pretty good entry into that into that following corner. Could have carried so much more speed through there. Oh, that felt good. Come on, little Polo. Gotta stick with it. Come on. Oh, that was beautiful. There's some parts of this track where this car can, like out of certain corners where I think this car can be the fastest of all the cars that we've driven so far. Like certain corners it just hooks. I almost did I almost did a golf in the Polo. Come on. Oh. Hug the inside, there we go. Oh, that short shift was actually so smart. If you learn how to carry the speed with this car, you can really be fast with this. Come there. Oh wow, that was so perfect. Come on. Oh, it really decelerates up the hill. You can feel it just lose momentum. And then we get to the top part of the hill. And it's on 256 and now it starts accelerating as we head into the downhill. I expected a bit more out of this Polo, to be honest. Come on. There we go. That was good. 7 minutes on the dot. Oh wow, and I made two really big mistakes. Excuse that, guys. I'm on a bit of a doggy watch. But yeah, what I was busy saying is, like, there is so much more that I expected out of this car, and it's not really delivering of what I expected. I think I overestimated this car, to be honest. And it's the first 7 minute on the dot lap. Oh, I have to say, I love the anti-lag though, like the pops. It really sounds good. It really sounds good, but there was just nothing spectacular about this. It was just, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it was just another lap around the Nürburgring. Like, all the other cars had some factor, even though the Renault was someone that I hated. It had a factor of there's something more, and I don't feel I have it with this car yet. Like, I don't feel like I don't have it. It just doesn't have it. And what I said at the end of Tsukuba indeed did come true. The Polo around a short track is slower than the Renault, but make it a long lap where there's a lot more challenging corners and it beats the Renault. It's not under 7 minutes, it's 7 minutes on the dot, but ranking this car, it's probably going to be one of the easiest rankings of the series so far, if not the easiest. Ladies and gentlemen of Turbo Fox Racers mid TurboNatics, the rating for the Polo, where is it going to sit? And before I do this rating, I want to state very clearly, just because I'm not a VW fan is not going to have any effect on how I rate this car. This rating is purely on the experience that I had driving this car around both tracks. You guys saw from the start when we got to Tsukuba, I said on the first lap it's really easy to figure out. And like I said, there was nothing wow about it. It's a decent car, did a decent lap. There was nothing challenging about it. And even the Renault, even though it was a tedious challenge that wasn't, bringing out fun, I would still rather drive the Renault than drive this. And that's 100% honesty. So this car, the scoring does not look very high. But let's get into it. And for any of the VW fanboys, if you guys are going to say, now you're a VW hater, you are fully justified on your opinion, but that has got nothing to do with it. And then you don't understand purity. Well, purity of judging when you test something. In any case, let's get straight into this. So, speed. Now, this car is faster than the Mark 1 Golf, and it's very average when it comes to straight line speed. It was very easy to manage the spinning of the front wheels. Like, this car's main gripe was power on cornering. So as you go through a corner and you put the power down, then it would start understeering a lot more than the Golf and the Honda actually did, which are the other two front wheel drive cars that we've driven so far. It was fast, but it wasn't spectacular. So for speed, it gets a 6.5 out of 10, which still is a pretty decent score. Then the strongest part of this car, the handling. This Polo really feels good. It feels solid on the road. If you don't overstep the cornering acceleration boundary, you're gonna have a good lap. And I really think it really performed well. Like you guys saw on the Nürburgring lap, a few of those corners, I took the best in this car out of any of the other cars that was already in this series. Because at some corners, when you feel grips there, you just have confidence immediately. So for handling, it gets a 7.5 out of 10, which is a very, very good score for handling. I really enjoyed some of the corners of the Nürburgring, especially when I realized where the boundaries were, and I was like, yeah, I can push this corner like really hard. And I do realize that I went off twice on the Nürburgring lap, but it wasn't like massive, and on those offs, I still had wheels on the tarmac. And remember what I told you guys, this needs to be as pure as possible. So doing a bunch of attempts when you struggle takes away from that, and I think that's what really hindered that Renault as well. So it was 2 attempts. I got it on the second attempt. It's the first registered lap that I got in that I felt I didn't lose too much, and it still, there was parts, it still with those 2 big mistakes beat the Renault by what, 2.5 seconds. So 2.5, 3 seconds. So it really, this car has got something going for it, but it's only in the handling characteristic. Now to the most important one of the series, the fun, well, the most important category of the series, the fun factor. And I'm honest, besides what I just spoke about in the handling as a good characteristic, I can't give you guys anything else. Nothing wowed me, except the look of the car, but that has got nothing to do with the performance. So nothing wowed me, and because of that, it gets the worst score of the whole series so far, with a 3 out of 10 for fun. It didn't feel tedious, it didn't feel like anything. It was just meh. And for that, it gets a 3 out of 10. Then we head to capability. Again, there's not much going for it. Someone even with my talent and my capabilities of driving in the game, if you figure out the cornering acceleration, which is the only thing that I felt this car was not good at, if you figure that out, you can get this car around almost any track relatively fast. And I think even in the hands of someone a lot faster than me, like an esports driver, it will go substantially faster, but that is based on just raw talent and game time of putting hours and hours and hours into this game above anything else. So for capability, I don't feel I've got much more to find except erasing the mistakes and figuring out the cornering acceleration, and then I can really take 5-6 seconds, maybe even a little bit more off of that lap. So for capability, it gets a 5 out of 10, which is also not a very, very high score. Remember what I said at the beginning of the series, anything of a 6 and above is a good score. So 2 of the 4 categories, it scored below a 6. So the total for the VW Polo GTI is a 22 out of 40, which gives it an average of 5.5 out of 10. And then when we head to the leaderboards, the Polo unfortunately slots in at the bottom. I would drive the slower, a little bit more challenging Mark 1 Golf before I drive this, because I had so much more fun with the Golf, and that car is 5th out of the 7 cars that we've got now. It's not close to the top. There was nothing exceptional about this car, and I'm not disappointed that I chose it. I still feel it was a good car for the series. There was just nothing. I expected more than what I got, and I think you guys can agree with that, you guys and gals, because it's not just men that view my channel. I've seen on my analytics recently there's ladies that watch my videos as well. So it for the guys and gals, the TurboNatics of the channel, it was just, I know especially young ladies, they tend to love like Fiesta STs, Polo GTIs, Golf GTIs. You know, it's a cool car. There's nothing wow about this car. There's really nothing wow about this car for what we tried to do with it. Was it fast? Yes. Was it fun? No. It really was lacking in the fun factor. So the leaderboard, how it stands now, is from I'm gonna do it a little bit other way around. No, we'll save that for the last episode. We're gonna do it from 1st to 7th. First is still the 1998 Honda Integra Type R DC2 with an 8.25 out of 10. Second is the Toyota Corolla 1600 GT AE86 with a 7.875 out of 10. Third is the 1999 Honda S2000 with a 7.5 out of 10. Fourth is the 1991 Lancia Delta HF Integrale with a 7 out of 10. Fifth is the Mark 1 VW Golf GTI with a 6.5 out of 10. Sixth is the Renault R5 Turbo with a 5.875 out of 10. And the latest car in the series, the 2014 VW Polo GTI, slots into 7th with a score of 5.5 out of 10. Guys, that has been this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Guys, again, thank you so much for the support of this series and on the channel recently. It's not just this series. This series is the main thing that's booming. But even my live streams, you guys, the support recently has been exceptional, and I really appreciate it. I really think we can get to those 500 subs in less than 2 months. We can really do this. If everybody shares this video with one friend that's not subscribed and they do subscribe, we're going to be closer to 1,000 than to 500. So let's get this going. Again, thank you so much for all the support. I highly appreciate it. You guys are absolutely amazing, and it's really been a pleasure, and I've been loving every step of this series. It's really just been so much fun. Remember to drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds. Go check out the links in the description down below for my social medias, as well as the second content page. Make sure to hit that subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. And I mean, if you're at this stage of the video and you have not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding that bell to never miss a future video, short, or live stream here on Turbo Fox Racers. Remember, your mind has to be stronger than your feelings, and I love you guys. I'll see you guys for whatever piece of content comes next. Cheers!